Hello, this is Pack Your Bags with Tui, and I'm Russell Kane, the podcast where we dig through celebrity suitcases one item at a time. Each episode, I'm joined by some of the biggest names from the world of sport, food, entertainment, medicine, and more. They're going to share their 3 must-pack travel items, from oddball keepsakes to brilliant travel hacks. Each item offers a glimpse into how they view the world, whether they're living the high life in 5-star comfort or surviving on a campsite. Mostly it's the first one, I'm not going to lie. It's not just about unpacking our guests' luggage. Okay, maybe there's going to be a bit of emotional baggage too. We're also sorting out your travel dilemmas. Listeners have sent dilemmas in, and we have a go at solving them with the help of my guest. And to polish it all off, we end with a quick fire round that really puts them in the hot seat. So there's only one thing left to do. Enjoy the episode. Today, I'm joined by celebrity chef, cookbook author, restaurateur, Marcus Wareing. Hello, Marcus. Welcome to Pack Your Bags with Tui. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Nice to be here.
I've got you on here, on board,
Yes.
the Tui jet, to talk about your travel experiences. You brought your 3 must-pack items along to show me, but before we get into that, I'm going to hit you with a dilemma now, Marcus. See what you think. How do I find under-the-radar food gems? I love trying local food and traveling, but struggle to get beyond the obvious spots filled with tourists like me.
I think you've got to get to know the community wherever you're going and find a restaurant that's local that you really enjoy and ask the people who live there. They've always got the hidden gems, the quiet places that you're not really on the radar. So it's befriend somebody who lives in the place where you are.
Now, we're both very lucky because we have jobs that at time of recording, AI cannot replace. There is no robot chef yet. Would they engage the swear function if it was?
I'm sure they would.
But what's your view on using AI for something like, hey, I'm in Sardinia. I don't want to go where the guides book tell me. Are there any hidden gems that locals talk about? That's a good use of AI, isn't it?
I think that could work. I think is it new? So as it is relatively new. I'm slightly old school, if I'm honest with you. And I think if I have my kids on holiday or they're coming with us, I think they could very much tap into that. There's a new world out there right now. And it takes people of my age sometimes just a little bit longer to get in tune with something that's really as instant as that. I think isn't going on holiday about discovering and reading and looking and buying magazines and, just trying to understand the location sort of the way we've been doing it for quite a long time.
You're probably unpacking your fax machine.
Yes.
Your pager, your disk drive.
That noise of a fax machine, there's not many people know what actually that noise is apart from a certain age group.
Okay, so this is how it's going to work.
Yeah.
We've got some items, some must-pack items in your travel bag, and I would love to see what your first must-pack item is and learn about it.
I've got a number of things, and it has a lot to do with where I'm going. I've got 3 different types of things. It's hard to choose. If I'm going on a self-catering holiday, which is going to be a villa somewhere, it's the knives. My professional knives go in my suitcase and they've got to come with me. I've been to too many places years and years ago and you arrive, you look in the kitchen drawer, has it got a corkscrew and what the knife's like? Yeah. You can always find the corkscrew, but the knives are appalling. And from that point on, it's the knife roll.
Okay, I'm just like a baby home chef, but I'm really into my knives. I think it's like Robert Welch or something, the ones I've got. And you have to, each time.
You don't use one of those. Oh, no.
I have to sharpen each time. Should I not be doing that?
Not on one of those things that you put your knife through. No, they just grind knives away.
Well, tell us what to do.
Well, it's about finding I'll show you my still actually in a minute, but it's finding a knife, go to a good knife shop, find something that really feels good in your hand. Look, all knives are sharp. At the end of the day, it's got a point, it's got a handle. For me, people say, what's your favourite knives? I don't have a favourite knife. I just the knife that feels good for me. A lightweight steel that's very, very fine. And you just got to do it the old-fashioned way. But a good Japanese knife? You know what they tell you to use to sharpen it?
What?
Newspaper.
What?
There's enough refined, fine element to a newspaper that can just the key is to just gently sharpen a knife. People go out with that machine you just demonstrated that, run it through the blade. Yeah. That just churns and cuts knives up and ruins them. Do not throw it away.
Let's have a look at them.
Right. I'll show you. Very hard when I've got this microphone in front of me.
Anything that manly in my life.
It's nice, isn't it? And it's leather.
A leather knife pouch.
I could have anything in here.
I've got my bronzing powder in a Hessian case.
But it's like anybody that goes who's a specialist in what they do, and they're taking it with them.
True.
My apron.
Look at that.
I feel good when I'm in an apron.
It's close to Waring's actual apron.
No, you're not. No, it stays down there.
Oh, I'm close. I mean, that's
so here's this steel. There you go. Feel the weight of that.
Oh my God.
Nice.
It's got your name on it. Marcus, you can see. No way.
Because people steal knives. Yeah. And so I've got a very, very different...
I like the idea that you work in the like posh Michelin-starred kitchen.
People do.
You're still like, this is Marcus's garlic, and anyone who touches it is going to detention.
Check my chopper. Always take a good my big knife, and of course these all come in
so cool.
in these beautiful magnets.
Yeah,
and that just protects the blade. So traveling, wrapping them up, they're all very, very well protected, and they all they've all got their different uses. And when I'm going away, we've got some fish. Fillet some fish, and you say, how do you fillet fish with that? I've been filleting fish with my eyes closed with knives like this, and it's just the length of the blade, they're thin, they're light, and I just love the handles of them as well.
So what is that, a filleting knife?
For me, that's a filleting knife. But I can do quite a lot with that. I can chop, I can slice, I can do whatever with it.
If you're self-catering, would you try and cook that culture when you're there, or would you quite happily knock up a Thai curry while you're in the south of France?
Yes, I think generally, we've always had villas. We go to Portugal or mostly in France, actually. It's about finding great produce, and great produce is in abundance in those locations and in those countries. It is throughout the world. You've got to go and find them. But I go to France because I just love the culture. I love the South. I just love what Provence gives me as the ingredients. And it's just, holiday is not going on holiday and cooking isn't a busman's holiday in a sense. It's we eat because we have to, but isn't it such a lovely part of holidaying, whether it's in a restaurant or doing it yourself, going to the markets, buying great produce? The knives are just an additional thing to make my life makes me feel happy. Cooking, professionally is a job, but when I'm away, it's a joy.
It's like a writer in the old days who take their beautiful typewriter out of its case and set it up, when they could just as easy get a typewriter there, but they've brought their own machine to create their novel on it. So I'm interested what your relationship to travel is, if you've been in a kitchen so much in these Michelin stars establishments. Have you traveled properly, or do you feel like you're new to travel sort of thing?
When I was growing up in Southport, my dad was introduced to somebody who decided to take him our family on a package holiday in the 70s, which is unheard of. Yeah. Which it was I think it was Thompson's before TUI. It was, and they did package holidays, and you go to the travel agent, you get your brochures, you choose your holiday, and you get on a plane. We were very fortunate to go on holiday 2 weeks of the year. That was the only holiday we ever had. That was up to the age of 17. And then I left, went to London, and I never traveled much for 20 plus years. It was kitchens, and my holidays were going home to see my family and just relaxing.
Where were your package holidays to, by the way?
They were never France. We never went to Italy. It was either Spain, Mallorca, a place, mostly Spain, Mallorca, Tenerife. That was it. We never really ventured much out of that, to be fair, because it was, in those days when you find something you like, you just went to them.
So France has played such an important role in your career. When did you first travel to France?
I discovered France through TV show, watching cooking shows about the top chefs in London who were from France and Italy and so on. So I worked at Gavroche at the age of 19. I was sent to upstate New York at the age of 20 to go and work in the Adirondack Mountains in just near the Canadian border as part of my job. And then I worked in other kitchens. I was sent to Paris. So I really discovered Paris as a workplace.
And did it feel immediately different when you arrived? You're like, wow, this feels like a gear change? Or were you just,
It was scary. I'd worked in London, but I'd worked in some very good kitchens. I was scared by Paris, but I was never scared by the kitchen because I'd learnt my trade and I'd learnt it well. So when I was in that 3-star Michelin kitchen, it felt very straightforward, very easy for me personally. I'd just been in some top kitchens in London that trained me to cope. So I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy Paris because it's too expensive. I couldn't afford it. I was paid the minimum wage.
Are you still able now to dip back into France, go to maybe a new region and draw fresh and new inspiration?
Oh gosh, yeah. It just never stops giving, a place like that. I went on my stag weekend to the south of France.
That's like the poshest stag ever.
And that was, and
down the Beaujolais,
it was, we ended up in, 2-3-star Michelins, and I went into a restaurant. It was actually, Gordon was my best man, and he took us down to south of France. We ate in some top restaurants. One of them was at Alain Ducasse's Louis Quinze, a 3-star Michelin in the Casino Royale Hotel. And it was an extraordinary experience for me. And that's when I had a little flavour of the South. You fly into Nice Airport and you fly over and you can see the coast, and then you land and it's just wow. And then you can travel into Provence, or you go down the coast, Saint-Tropez, Cap d'Antibes and places like that. And it's just culturally just stunning and beautiful. It's steeped in history. It's got tons of wine growers everywhere. You've got the most stunning produce. What's there not to like? The Côte d'Azur, come on.
I've only experienced it once as a guest of someone. You go like these little tender boats that you take out. A tender boat is a boat that goes from a bigger boat, and we would go to these restaurants I've never experienced anything quite like it, because in other parts of France, you would sit down and it's all fine dining, it's Michelin-starred, and it's wonderful, but it all sort of adds up logically. But these places were like debauched bacchanalian lunchtime raves with bottles of champagne coming out and everything going crazy. But the food was still works of art.
They just seem to know how to run. It's almost like you go to Pampelon Beach near Saint-Tropez. And I remember sitting on there, and I had to cook, I think it was just my two sons, very young, sitting on that beach. We'd hired a villa. We went down to Pampelon Beach, and I sat on that beach, and all you could see was the yachts and those boats coming back and forth, going to the restaurants and to the wine bars. And I was just sitting there thinking, I want to be on one of those boats one day. I want to be on a boat. How do you do that? Well, you go away, you work incredibly hard, and you want to go and buy yourself a boat. Never did that yet, but that for me,
befriend someone that has.
Yes, you do. There's an aspiration. There's something to reach towards, and my kids were very young, and it was like, I want to enjoy this beach. I want to be able to go to that restaurant, Cinq on Cinq, and go and eat the food, even though I can't afford it now. Looking around and seeing what everyone's doing, and you see the cars everywhere. It gives you a real purpose. When you come back home, kids go back to school, and you get back into your kitchen and you start your career again. You start working incredibly hard, and you think, I'm going to be the very best that I can be in the job that I've chosen, so that I can be on that boat or in that sports car or eating in that top class restaurant, having a bottle of champagne that's got a candle that's lit or a sparkler coming towards my table. And it gives me aspirations to go and do that.
That's what they should play into secondary schools, not giving everyone a medal even if they come last at sports day. Like, what is that teaching kids? Anyway, we both sound about 100 years old. What was your second item again? So we're going to go through them one at a time. The compass,
I've got a compass, yeah.
There's not an iPhone being whipped out here.
No, this is a gift from my father-in-law. So I got into skiing late on in my life. My son went on a school ski trip and came back, and it obviously super excited. I think he's about 10 years old. And there's two things in my life that I've always wanted to learn to do: ski and ride motorbikes. And my kids and my father-in-law, well, my kids got me skiing and my father-in-law back into motorbikes. And this compass was a Christmas gift. And the reason why he gave it to me is that I can't use it. I know the north, south, and east and west, and never eat shredded wheat and all that sort of stuff.
Just show it to a London cabbie.
But he was struggling with this one because it doesn't have a button on it.
He just scratched South off. We ain't going there, mate. Wimbledon, dream on. I'll drop you on the Thames.
I started to book when the kids finished school at Christmas, I'd go on a boys' weekend with my eldest son, who was about 10, 11, 12 years old back then. And it was like, do you know what? I need to make more of an effort with my children, and I want to learn to ski. Skiing, when you don't know, is quite complicated.
I'm terrified of it.
Oh, the boots.
Terrified of being hurt.
Everything is difficult.
But you're doing like motorbiking and skiing.
I know.
It's like, I know. Yeah, your life insurance has just become unaffordable, let alone your yacht.
I went, so whenever we went, both my son and I were learning. So we'd have an instructor for 3 hours in the morning. We'd go for about 3 days. And this friend booked me into Italy in a resort in Cervinia. And second to last day, instructor goes around and you get these maps that they give you. And when you read a piste map, it just like, there's the mountain. It never looks the same as the picture. Right. And you got all these runs. And he took us along up to the highest point and then skied us down. And when you're with a young kid, they want to be skiing right to the very, very, very last opportunity. There's no long lunches. There's no rosé, and I was up for it because every opportunity was learn. So we'd done this, and then the second to last day, we went, right, Jake's like, let's get to the very top, Dad, let's get to the very top. So right to the very, very top, which is about 3,500 meters up there. It's onto the top. We get the cable car. We're at the top. There's two peaks. I'm on one, and there's the other peak. Now, we've been on these two peaks previously with the instructor. And as we get out, we got final ski. It's going to take us about 15, 20 minutes to get to the bottom. So it's a lovely long run. And as you come out of that particular gondola, you sort of go behind this mountain and then you come around it and you ski back into Cervinia. As I'm going down this particular run, Jake said, Dad, it's left. And I'm saying, no, Jake, it's right. We've got to just keep going here. And then we come round. Keep going. Come with me. And he's behind me. I keep going. And I keep going, and there's no left turn off this mountain.
Did he follow you?
He followed me.
Oh, no.
I'd only started to ski into Switzerland.
Oh.
So I'm in Italy on my holiday, and I ski
that's some wrong turn on your ski.
I was at the wrong peak.
You left the EU.
I know. I was at the wrong peak. I should have been on the other one.
Oh, my God.
That the instructor put us on. Anyway, we're going along. So we get to this first big area where you're at this massive junction. And I said to the guy, I said, where am I? And he said, I'm supposed to be in Cervinia. He says, no, you're heading off to Zermatt. I said, but I need to be there. So how do I get back? I'd got nothing. I just got my phone, my credit card, my ski pass, and my son.
Once you're down
who's
hill,
just telling me, he's like, Dad, what have you done? And I'm in a different country. The guy says, you got to go down. I said, no, I need to go back to Italy. He said, no, you have to go down. You go down because it's getting dark. They want you off the piste. As I'm skiing down and keep going down, I have no clue where I am. And I'm really, really nervous.
And you got your boy with you
really scared. And I got really scared. I've only been skiing a couple of years, by the way, so I didn't really know the mountain.
Because you've got a child with you as well, you've got no responsibility.
And I'm thinking, and then I got to a certain another level where you had to then take your skis off, get in a cable car, and we went down. And it was when we got to Zermatt, as we were coming in this cable car, so you couldn't ski to the bottom. As we were coming down in this cable car, it just got more beautiful and more beautiful and more beautiful. And we were coming into Zermatt, and this particular gondola went straight into the town. And as I was coming in, I'm looking at all these hotels and restaurants and there's snow everywhere. It was like magical. And I started to feel a little bit better. And we get out and I saw this hotel. I thought, I'm going to go and knock on the door, see if they've got any rooms, because obviously I've got to stay here.
Did you have your passport on you, by the
way? No, this was pre-leaving the EU, so I was fine.
You were fine.
So I didn't need anything. Walked up to the desk, and the lady said, this is what I've done. She just laughed at me. She says, you're not the first, but you've got a credit card. I said, yeah. So have you got a room? She said, yeah, I've only got one left. And it happens to be the penthouse. I'll take it.
Yes.
And we took it.
Story.
We took it. We ordered pizza in, had a bottle of wine. We had the most incredible night ever. Called my instructor, went back up the mountain the next day. He met me at the top. He laughed at me and took me back down the mountain again. And then that Christmas, my father-in-law bought me one of these.
A compass.
I was going
to say, where'd you
for the idiot on skis from Britain. And I look at this and it just brings back so many scary but incredible memories.
Now that is what you call a cool travel story. You talk a lot about your experiences of traveling with your family, because my daughter's 9, so I'm fascinated about how it changes as your kids get older.
Every holiday I seem to ever go on is always going to be based around my 3 children. The 3 years in between, all 2 boys and then a girl. And
how old's your eldest then?
He's 23.
So what's it like traveling like with a geezer?
He came last year in Provence, actually. And so basically the holidays, we had a villa. It was in the heart of Provence. And it's right, I've got my 3 kids coming. One's 23, the other's 21 and the other's 17. They can't be on their own and have a nice time together. They've got to bring a friend.
Right.
So my eldest son had his girlfriend come out, my other son had his girlfriend come out, and Jesse had a mate come out. And you know what? For the 5 days in the middle, it was fantastic. But when you've got a geezer coming with you,
I know it's like
it's a very different holiday.
It's so hard to imagine the future.
It's so cool. It's such good, because they can drive. So he'll go to the shop, get the croissants in the morning. He'll go to shops and get wine. And we have a beer at lunchtime. We have, it's so different, but it's really good fun. Conversation is strong.
Do you miss travelling with, like, it's don't very often hear men say this, but I sort of miss the baby stage a bit.
Now, I've just had last year, that's the most amazing holiday with them. But I do miss throwing them around the swimming pool and just the fun and the laughing and the cuddles and the tickling and the bedtime, and it's getting you get the candles out and you're cooking a nice dinner and the kids are all moseying around. It was fantastic.
Okay, so what's your next item?
Well, I've got, believe it or not, I mean, only the chef would probably bring this, Malden sea salt. Probably the best salt on the planet, in my opinion.
I mean, if you're travelling to Ibiza with that in your hand luggage, you ain't getting into the country quickly.
I just stick this into my, this is what we finish our meat, our fish, we cook with it.
Tell me about the flavour of this salt then.
Well, it's an interesting question, the flavour of salt. What Malden salt is, the salt crystals are so fine that literally I just put a piece on my tongue and it just dissolves. It's not harsh. It's not like table salt. It's almost sort of acrid in a sense. It's sort of harsh and not very nice. This is delicate. It's almost light, I think. If I can describe it, it's light salt that's got flavour. And you can put it on your finger and you can eat it and you can actually enjoy it.
So if you're self-catering, you travel everywhere?
Take something. Yeah, I take a packet of this with me, put it in my bag, generally put it with my knife roll.
What do you think of this then? In my tour car in the back, as well as having my own cutlery and some things that would impress you, herbs and spices.
Okay.
I have salt, but I have fleur de sol.
Okay.
The French one.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice, but
not as good as Malden.
It can be. It depends. It's all about, it's like, it could be a type of car, clothes. We all have that go-to thing that we enjoy. I think a chef, you'll probably find, if you ask 100 chefs, I'd say probably a majority of them will enjoy Malden, because it's the one salt that sits in kitchens and on tables, but we cook with it. And when you finish food with it, It doesn't overtake it.
Is it a sin to grind it? Is it a pinch from a pot?
Oh, it's a pinch. You just put it in a little bowl and a little pinch.
We've got to educate
grind this.
Educate and inform. Any countries that you've been to or would like to go to where they're just Premier League, where the cuisine pops? For me, Morocco, Thailand, Vietnam, cultures like that.
It's interesting because the Far East is, for me, is an undiscovered location. I've been to Tokyo once and I found that fascinating. I found the fish market more interesting than the actual food. The food, you can get great Eastern cuisine through London in various different really good quality restaurants. But I found that fish market, the old fish market, is where I saw real inspiration of the opportunity of future travel. See, the way I look at it right now, okay, I'm 55 this year. I closed down my last restaurant at the end of the year 2023. And last year, I had a lot of work doing television, writing books. And this year, I've got a little bit more time on my hands. I'm getting to the stage where people say you don't travel enough, and I don't. I want to go and discover New Zealand. I'd love the wines of New Zealand and Australia.
Marlborough region.
Oh, it's just stunning.
I've got one question before we hit the quick fire, and that is, if you're going to send our Pack Your Bags fans anywhere in France for a 3-day trip, apart from Paris, where would you send them?
Provence. I did a great show there in Saint-Remy. Never have chosen to go to Saint-Remy. The producers, directors, the program centers there. I couldn't believe the food culture, the fresh homegrown produce within the region is incredible. From brown rice to melons to all the fruit, all the vegetables you can think of, the most stunning peaches, and it's just wow. And just to really wrap around it, rosé wine. Just absolutely every single corner you're in the heart of rosé. You might as well be in a bottle of the stuff.
Because people mock rosé, don't they?
Oh, what?
It's white or red, and then it's almost like if you can't decide.
Rosé now, it is not just a summer drink. It is drank all year round. It's not just for holidays. It's become very, very good. And the makers of the rosés, especially through France, wow, they are making top.
My Uncle Darren does what he calls a people's rosé, where he pours white into his red. The quick fire questions. Number 1, your dream travel partner.
Dream travel partner.
You got 3 kids, be careful.
Wife.
Best holiday snack.
Oh, crisps.
First thing on your plate at the buffet.
Oh, the buffet. I like bread. Yeah, if not, some prawns.
What do you think of sourdough over? Because everyone says sourdough the whole time now. Oh, right, well,
love
I'm
sourdough.
a bit of a sourdough fanboy, so I'm just checking that's okay.
No, all day long.
Biggest travel ick that makes you go, things you don't like to see when you're traveling or make your skin tremble. And
people getting up early and putting their towels on the sunbeds.
Most unforgettable holiday food experience.
I think I've had a lot of those. I'm going to go with the Louis Cannes 3-star Michelin experience was on my stag weekend.
Lovely.
In Monaco.
This is a divisive one. Thoughts on clapping when a plane lands?
No chance.
What do you think of those that do?
Weird. Why do you want to clap?
God, I don't know.
Pilot's doing his job.
Well, you're applauding what might have happened. It's so bleak to be applauded. It's like clapping that you're not divorced or something. Somewhere new or same place?
I'm a bit safey. Same place. I think I'd try to keep going back.
France. But France has a lot to give, to be fair to you. Holiday planner or just turn up?
Oh, planner. I have to plan.
Unless you're skiing into another country.
Yes, unless we're doing something a little bit unusual.
I'm guessing I know the answer to this one, given your years as a chef, but lie in or early riser? But on holiday?
On holiday, I like to lie in, but my wife's always afraid of missing the breakfast buffet when we're in a hotel. It drives me mad.
Well, when you're self-catering, I guess you're making the breakfast buffet.
When it's self-catering, get up and get your own.
What's your go-to holiday drink?
Rosé.
Yeah, thought it might be. And if there was a choice, buffet or a la carte?
A la carte.
Best foodie destination?
London.
Wow. Most surprising foodie destination? St. Remy, I suppose, like you said, maybe? Or?
Yeah, that was for me. Yeah, St. Remy, because it's unusual.
And this will be tough, given the amazing memories you've shared with us, but your best travel memory?
Wow. There is a lot of best travel memories. I filmed in Mallorca, and I went there as a young boy with my dad and my mum. I've never went back, and we went to Palma, and we stayed there, and we also went to Port de Soyer, which is this little shipping village. It was incredible. Great memory for me that was, because I actually, when I filmed there, I went back that summer and took my family, and we just had the most incredible holiday.
Oh, but that was emotional.
So it was a lovely TV experience, enjoying the food and hospitality and understanding Parma and Port Sayer, and then going back with my family. It was fabulous.
People go to Mallorca and they don't really explore Parma, do they?
It's amazing. What a beautiful little country, green as green can be.
And is the capital, because if I took 100 people that have been to Mallorca, 99 of them wouldn't have never have seen the capital. They
go around the old town,
go to the coast.
Go around the old town and have a look at it. It's beautiful. It really is quite magical. And there's a restaurant and there's owned by an Englishman, Eddie Hart. They were brought up there, two brothers brought up there in Mallorca, and one of them stayed over there, and he's opened a restaurant, and it's incredible. And you're going to ask me the name of it now, and I cannot remember it. El Camino. El Camino. If you're ever in Parma, go to El Camino. And you know what's really interesting? You walk down this side alley, and there's all these, like, it's all side alley, and there's these shutters. You're like, where's the restaurant? And there's this queue forming, and then this shutter goes up on this, what I thought was just a warehouse site sort of thing. And the restaurant is literally, the window is right there. People are queuing up. Lunchtime, 12 o'clock, the shutter goes up. There's probably about 50 people waiting outside. El Camino. It is incredible. It's lovely, Mediterranean, Spanish style, authentic
That
food.
is what you call recommendation. Tapas. Thank you very much, Marcus Wareing. Anything else? What are you up to next? Anything you want to let us know about?
I need to sort out this year's holiday now. Now I'm on the holiday mood. I need to start thinking about where we're going. In fact, we always ask my wife and I, where are we going? Well, what the kids do? Well, Jake's here, Archie's there, Jesse's doing this. Well, can we just not choose a holiday and they can just make their way there? If they're all old enough now, bar one. It's about planning on our next holiday, always planning on what we're going to be doing. I love filming abroad.
Any books, any filming projects you can share with us?
Looking at a new book, I'm trying to get some ideas of, one place I've never filmed and I really, really want to go, and it's because I've never really discovered it, is Italy. But I think there's been so much TV done in Italy. It's almost done to death, but I personally have not been there and experienced it. In television world, I actually really want to get under the bonnet of hospitality. And what I mean is I want to try and discover what the modern world of hospitality is and what is the importance of social media, how people eat and drink.
How it's changed since COVID. We've changed. Our attitudes to hospitality has changed so much in the last 5 years. I
want to find out how the industry takes it versus the viewer and the consumer as to what everyone's looking for. Because I think when I say under the bonnet of how so many brilliant restaurants there are out there right now, they're all working in different ways. We don't have the EU family to come and support us anymore and work in our hospitality industry. We've left. You can't get them over. They won't come over. You can't get the visas for them. So, there's also there's an opportunity here for the future generations of the youth to come into an extraordinary industry and become incredibly successful, because the opportunities that were taken by our European family, they're there now.
Exactly.
And I'm going this week. I'm going back to the north. I'm going to a school in Mughal, and I work for a charity called Speakers for Schools, where I'm getting young people into hospitality, but also into work placements while they're still at school, and trying to encourage people to come into what I consider to be, for me, the best industry there is.
It's almost like in some industries, some parts of the country, we've lost the habit of work. So it's brilliant that you're doing that. And also, if I could just put a shout out for the middle bit of Italy, the Reggio Emilia region, that's where my wife's family's from. And Bologna, which was I just went there because the flight was from the airport I was going. It's actually known as like Fat City or something because of the food culture there, and they love to eat. I don't see many programs talking about, even though you've got cheese and everything around there. And the middle part of Italy. I'm not going to tell you where to go, but have a poke around Bologna. Well, thank you very much for joining us on this episode of Pack Your Bags with Tui. If it's your first time listening, we have plenty more episodes for you to dig into with the likes of First Dates, Fred Syriacs, The Guardian food critic Grace Dent, or Zoe Williams from This Morning from season 1. And for those of you that have been with us all series, thank you for joining us on this journey. It's been a blast.